God damn, it's been rough lately. Or, like, not inherently bad. I just had an orgasm a second ago, so don't mind me. Hi, my name's Timidity. How are you doing? Do you ever wonder if you're truly, like, meant and destined for friendship? Because sometimes I do. Like, I don't know. I'll just meet people and they'll be the most ridiculous motherfuckers. Like, sometimes the easiest people to make friends with are introverts, because they'll just scoop you up and, like, take you on their wing, but then it'll be some weird shit. Like, you'll go to a bar with them, like, oh yeah, these are the extrovert homies. These are the ones who just like literally decided, hey, it's me, the quiet girl. You're cool. Yeah, come tell us stories, girl. And then next thing you know, we'll be at a bar and they'll be talking about like, oh, I don't believe that our mutual friend raped somebody. No, no, and wasn't the girl a slut anyway? Also, hey, Tamia, you should drink. You should drink. You should drink. You don't want to drink? You don't want to drink. More seriously? Wow. You don't you really won't drink more. And then like it's like, oh, okay, never mind. You niggas are unsafe. You don't never fucking yeah. Don't get fucking near me. Not within 50 feet, motherfucker. Or sometimes I can meet someone at my job, like someone who I'll think, ooh, what a cool coworker. Like we should get along great. Like I'll be like, oh my god, I'm finally making another friend that's a black woman, and then she'll be like, ooh, you know what? Trump isn't actually all that bad. Like also, Swiss people fucking suck. And then she'll say some shit like, yeah, I know I'm only 20 years old and my boyfriend is like 36, but he's not my boyfriend. We only had one date, but he's my boyfriend. But before he's like fully my man, I need to get a side bitch and a side nigga so that I can pre-plan to cheat, you know? Because fuck, I look like dating him and being like stepmommy to his fucking newborn and like not having side hoes. He also has another kid. I'm gonna be stepmommy to his 11-year-old, and I'll just be like, bitch, why are you doing this to yourself? Go shake ass in a club and be single. Why are you doing that to yourself? And I'll just be like, shit, here I was. We were getting along so well. And then, and just the amount of people who will lie about shit for no reason. Like, I'm not gonna say any names, but someone who I thought was kind of cool, let's just say there's allegations that she may have lied about her mom being murdered by a serial killer. And someone in our circle was like, so she was born in this year, but the serial killer died like a decade before in jail. So she's pretty obviously lying, cuz if your mom died from the hands of a serial killer, how are you born from your mom's dead corpse a decade later? So, like, I don't know, that shit scares me. I remember I was just telling people the other night about my ex boyfriend Morgan and about how he lied about hella shit. I remember the most satisfying day I had with him that was not like sexual was when he just revealed to me all the shit he was lying about. He was like, yeah, I lied about going to the therapist. I never had a therapist. Yeah, I just wanted time gaps where I wasn't talking to you and was doing my own shit because I burn out easily. Also, when I said that the therapist would be checking our Reddit messages and that you should talk to me on Etsy instead, that was secretly my girlfriend at the time who I was cheating on. Yeah, yeah. That way she couldn't find that I had been like fucking other women in my phone. And I was like, oh, okay. I call Morgan an ex boyfriend just because it's convenient, but really, he's just a situation shit mixed with a mistake. He wanted to be my boyfriend, but for a million reasons, including that one, that was not gonna happen. It's like, you can be one of my many whores in my concubine, sir. On my fucking roster. You are a team player, and may the best man win. And he was not the best man. If anything, I have not talked to him in weeks and maybe a full month, and I'm happy about that. Anyway, back on topic. Like my ex best friend, I remember her ass. Like we got along so great. I was like, look at me. I have a black girl who's like artistic, and like a black girl, artistic, into spiritual shit, into like leveling up her dating life. Wants to date rich men who spoil her. Super fucking cool, super fly. We gonna get along great, and we did until like months later. She started. She was with that nigga who I told her not to get with, and then it's like, oh, like a lot of shit came out. It's like, oh, I see, so you dated a narcissist who might have beaten his ex, and you knew that, and you decided to date him anyway because you wanted to have use him as a trick just to actually fall for him. I've made that mistake before. Trust me, I have. Sadly, some like it's a thing. Sadly, sometimes you can do one thing and then fall for someone along the way and be like jats. You know, that's kind of happening with this current guy I'm casually saying. But let me put a pin in that one. As I was saying, so in a nutshell, let's just say She revealed that she thought all sex workers were more or less whores, and it's like, bitch, why are you friends with me then? Two, she revealed, she just showed that she really didn't do any inner work. She didn't prioritize herself, didn't value herself, and that she put this nigga on a pedestal. Like, how are you gonna get online and be like, fuck him? He was just some ugly 5'5", like, actually, I think he was even shorter, like 5'4" dude who, and I saw photos of him. I was like, you she did dumb shit the whole fucking time. She was the one I talked about where it's like, if a friend refuses to take your advice, they're not a friend because that proves they don't value you enough to consider your opinion. And it's true because I remember she was telling me like, yeah, this dude seems narcissistic as fuck, but I want to like have him as a trick or a generous provider or see if I can change him. But usually, and then she just went to that nigga's house and fucked him like 13 minutes into watching some anime, and she acted like it was the most romantic thing ever. It's like you just lost your virginity to him, and I don't even remember if she used a condom. And for so many reasons, that was stupid. But she just started showing how she was actually a really fucked up person. And I ended the friendship once she was getting online bragging about like, "Ooh yeah, I want his dick some more. He wants me more than he wants his new bitch." After he already cheated, he cheated on her. Technically, it was just porn, but still, in her book, that's cheating. And technically, it was OnlyFans, and he had been. It's like there were a million red flags. She just ignored them all, kept fucking that nigga, and like, and then they broke up, and then he actually revealed he was full on cheating on her too. So it's like, oh, okay, that does suck. Sorry to hear that, girl. But then she kept trying to win him back, I guess, just to feel like she won. And she was bragging about paying for his fucking food, and like how his new bitch was ugly and desperate, and how he was secretly like groping her ass and making out with her in libraries. And it's like, I just thought to myself, so we became friends because you said you wanted a nice, like, drama free, peaceful relationship where you would have a man who's a masculine protector and provider. But tell me why you're going after a man who you call short and ugly, and you're paying for his expensive dinners just for him to not fuck you at the end of the night and go back home to the girl who he actually is dating. And you, like, also, you hate sex workers, but you're also whoring yourself out for free. So what sense does that make? You think sex workers are more or less whores who are in relationships, and you hate OnlyFans girls, and you hate people who do this and do that, but you're friends with me. Weird. And also, you're doing worse than them. You're auditioning to be a whore for free. How does that fucking work? Anyway, and I've had multiple friends before where I hate that I even had the fucking, what's the opposite? Like sometimes I say oh, I'm gonna say it sarcastically. I had the oh so luxurious experience of being their friend, where they would constantly rant to me about how they were doomed to never have friends or never like have deep, loving, thoughtful connections and relationships, and they would be the common denominator, bitch, because it's like I'm the one putting in efforts. I'm the one remembering birthdays and making plans and socializing and initiating. If they were like, I had two homies, actually multiple. Oh my god, this is also the other point. Sometimes I'll try to make friends with introverts because introverts are pretty easy. They're kind of like stray cats where you just pick one up behind the dumpster and then take it home. So if you see an introvert at a party, all you have to do is be like, "Hi, here's my name. Want to dance? Let's talk." And are you in the mood for socialization? And then then you get to chit chat some more in a non-offensive manner, and you get to become homies. But then you see how many of them have like self-fulfilling prophecies and fucking defeatist mindsets, and it's like, oh, so you mean to tell me that you think you're never gonna have friends? Maybe it's because you actively scare away every friend you have. Maybe it's because you're actually kind of shitty to anyone who actually wants to get to know you in a romantic or just a platonic context. Maybe that's why. It's because like, and funny enough, they love to be my friend because they get to live vicariously through me. Like, wow, Tanya, you always have these crazy experiences. You meet all these crazy people around town and around this other cities. How do you do it? The answer is you see something outside of your comfort zone and you go to it and you try it. And then even if you go home without talking to anybody, at least you tried it. That's better than some people who just stay at home on Discord all day. And then aside from that, there's the other option where sometimes you build the stakes. It's like, okay, I'm going to try to talk to one person. I'm just going to compliment one person's outfit. Now I'm going to compliment 5 people in one day. I'm going to see if I can compliment 10 people in one day, and no matter their reaction, I'm going to at least take that as practice. I'm going to initiate contact with people on subreddits and in real life. And maybe I'll even have meetups I'll do with people in real life that I'll try. And you just have to make an effort. If you don't make an effort, you can't talk to me about how you're doomed to be friendless, because it's like, nigga, you aren't even trying. And like, you're a piece of shit. Do some inner work. Eat healthy. Try to touch some fucking grass and sniff the fucking flowers. Like, your life's not that bad. It's so goddamn annoying meeting those types of people, which is also why I kind of shy away. I kind of just have stopped trying to meet people who are, or I stopped trying to be friends with people who are introverts, because it's like, it just doesn't benefit me anymore. Like it used to, because it's like, okay, easy targets to, like, for the sake of love and friendship. Like, if I want to bestow love and friendship on somebody on easy mode, find an introvert, scoop them up, bond with them, get their information, and then keep sending them memes, and then they'll eventually be like, ah, I have a friend. You know, funny enough, that is how you make friends with an introvert. Kind of like how you put cat food in your hand and wait for the kitty to eat it. You just have to keep sending an introvert memes and then text them, this is me initiating friendship. Would you like these memes of these cats? And then they will eventually start liking the memes back and talking to you. Anyway, making friends can be exhausting. I know it's not the end of the world though, because even last night I got back from a rough event, and on the way home I was crying, and I was like, maybe I'm just doomed to not make friends. Maybe I'm like too emotionally fucked up, and maybe other people are too like just fucking strange, and maybe I'm just one of those people who's not meant to have friends, who's meant to just be alone and be loved from a distance, and be alone, baking cookies, making pies, playing video games, and having a stress-free life where no one else affects me, but I affect them, and I keep things simple that way, being someone else's therapist or whatever the fuck. But then I saw an angel number like multiple times. Each time I thought that thought, I saw 888, and that's the number of abundance. So it's kind of like, imagine you're like, damn, maybe this shit ain't meant for me. And then the universe is like, here's a number that specifically means that you're meant for anything you want. And also, I'm going to just keep casually having this number show up on random buildings until you stop thinking those thoughts. So deep down, I thought, yeah, okay, I guess I'm doomed to be loved and cared for and cherished by other people. Oh boy. There's worse things in this world, you know? But still. Like, I forgot to mention, I threw a cup of water on someone I considered a friend just the night before the last, so 2 nights ago. I remember I got my hair braided from a new braider. They did a really good job. I like it. Don't worry about the glue. That's lace front glue. I wore a wig yesterday. Whew. And I swear to God, after I got my hair braided, I was like, I had such a fun time socializing with that braider, watching Bridgerton and Chaperone videos and having a good ass time. Let me go ahead and like go to this open mic and like have fun, like watching these people perform. I'll probably make it super late. They're probably wrapping up, but I still want to at least say I showed up. And I did. And I got to socialize with a few people, and one of them was the bastard Seamus, who basically, like, we have beef. They were the one I mentioned in my past videos where they could not get over that they didn't have access to fucking me. And so that total asshole, he approached me on some, hey, I just wanted to know that everything you said about me was just in your head and never ever happened and was untrue and you're just paranoid. But also, I'm sorry. And I said, my nigga, you can't just say it didn't happen and that you're sorry. You have to stand 10 toes down on one or the other. Because how are you going to apologize for something that you don't even believe happened? That just means you would repeat it if I were to bother being your friend again. And we talked and talked, and let's just say he was paranoid and he has rejection sensitive dysphoria. So he was just on edge as if we were going to fight. So even if I said something good, I didn't even say anything really bad. He was just paranoid. He thought I need to get her before she gets me on some paranoid shit. While he was trying to pretend he wanted to be friends and pretend that we could have a good bond again. That annoyed the fuck out of me. And let's just say that triggered my mental illness so bad that one thing led to another and he got a cup of water tossed on him. And then I went home and I was so embarrassed. I could have gotten a ride home from this other dude, but I just straight up was like, nah, this has depressed me so much that I need to go stand in the dark in the hood and wait for a bus to come and then walk my ass home in the cold with all of my fucking items on. Like, and I'm just gonna risk that because I do not want to risk further having to explain to people why that just happened. Like, why our mutual friend is soaking wet at this event, you know? But I don't consider him a friend anymore. Not after that. He got too disrespectful for my fucking taste. And after that, and then last night, I just socialized with some people and it went eh. I just kind of was thinking to myself, maybe I'm not meant to be understood by people. Maybe I'm not meant for like long lasting friendships myself. I know that's a defeatist mindset, but I see why some people do it. It's easier. It's easier than doing inner work to like work on how you handle rejection or to put yourself out there or, I get it. There's a lot of factors to why. I think I whipped off some hair taking off my wig the other night. Whatever. Last time I'll make that mistake. This is wig glue. Eh. Don't do what I did. I'm gonna lose my fucking edges. I need to stop doing that shit. My poor hairline. Sorry, I'm staying on topic. But it wouldn't actually get me the end result I want. I don't know. So sometimes I teeter between like, I don't want to overly rely on other people for my sense of happiness and joy. I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible, actually. Because nothing pisses me off. Like, I'll post something vulnerable online and then people won't respond or won't give a shit. They won't care if I'm crying. They don't care if it's like a knife to my wrist. They don't give a shit about anything. The most they'll do is send a fucking meme the next morning. And that's why I'm just kind of like, I'm losing attachments to people. And especially with this whole like incident where someone in the comedy community raped someone and got arrested, it's just showing like a lot of people's true colors. And it's like, too many of y'all are more comfortable shitting on the rape victim and or those who don't like rapists than you are shitting on those who like rapists and those who raped people. And I'm gonna stop seeing y'all as homies, cause what the fuck? Like, and I'm just setting a higher bar for the friendships I want, and sometimes I wonder if it's too unbelievably high. Like, I get it, not everyone's gonna have the same opinion on you, not everyone's gonna worship the entire ground you walk on, not everyone is gonna have the same taste as me, or opinions, and I get it. But still, it's kind of exhausting. It's like, you know, one can say that there's beauty in the fact that some people can be entirely different and still get along, like me and my current nigga. Like, he has a lot going on. Like, he was in the army. I fucking hate people who were in, like, just no, I'm not. Like, I'm sorry. Anytime I think of the army, I think of just like colonization, wars, destitution, people getting raped in other countries, and it's like I don't picture anything good because it's like, yeah, y'all gave yourselves a bad rep, so I'm not gonna see y'all in the best light. Like, why are military dads like that? It's like I'm just not the biggest fan of people who are in wars. And I don't know, my current man is one of those Joe Rogan podcast army type dudes, but at the same time I think we get along because despite our differences in many aspects and avenues of life, they're willing to listen and learn. I am open-minded to some shit they say, but I still recognize when they're dumb as fuck. And then like they'll be like, "Oh, hey, open my mind about the whole LGBT thing. Let me know more about being non-binary and trans and this shit and that shit." Oh, also I would like, and then he'll ask me stuff about like race or gender or politics, and we find a good way to actually like meet in the middle and be sane together. And I like that. And I think that's at least a good sign and a good omen that despite our many differences, we manage to still have common ground in a lot of them. And I find that decently pleasant. But it does scare me because sometimes I just think, when's the other shoe gonna drop? When is this gonna get too much? When am I gonna finally learn the thing that scares me off? Or when am I gonna do the thing that scares them off? But so far it hasn't happened. And I like that. I think they actually have seen the most out of me than most people have, and vice versa. So it feels nice. I'm very glad that we had met and we have a lot in common. I'm sure one could say, do you feel like you have a lot in common just because you're both artistic? I mean, maybe. That is how it went with Morgan and Liam and stuff. But those were different stages. I think also some people were just made for certain stages of life, not others. When I dated Liam and I was friends with him and stuff, that was me when I was like, okay, you know what? I like being a homebody and just playing games and having home cooked meals and not doing too much and occasionally going out every once in a while with my fellow socially awkward introvert. And then when I outgrew that relationship for a lot of reasons, then it's like, okay, I met Morgan, and that was when I was in my, hey, fuck you, pay me, take me out to a nice luxury place, treat me to this, do that, and actually wanted to, like, elevate my life. And that's when, and I was like, I want someone who wants marriage and kids and a future, and I want someone who like is masculine and sexy and can lift a mattress and fuck me like a porn star. And that's when Morgan came in. And then after Morgan was done, I was like, okay, I just want a relationship that is not totally shitty and abusive. I want a relationship where I feel good, like consistently, like they make an effort to care. Like if I'm hungry, they get me groceries because they want to help me out. If I'm struggling with something, they just reach in to help because they're sweet. I want someone who I can care for and cherish and not feel afraid of showing my whole self to in any way, shape, or form, and they respect my boundaries and they make me feel safe. And so far, my current guy's been good at that, and I'm letting that be how it is. Of course, was he abusive too? Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna talk about that too much just because I'd rather be happy today. I'll say this: they want to give me room to show them that they are indeed someone who can be trustworthy and loving. And I'm giving them space, but we aren't gonna see each other for a few weeks, so don't worry, I'm also on my hot girl summer shit. That's why I had that wig on the other night. I was out and about, even though that did not go according to plan. Anyway, I don't know. Sometimes I just get afraid that I'm just gonna be lost in the universe with people who don't understand me, and that I'm just truly meant to be how it was like when I was 12 and happy before I actually learned, like, when I was 12, that was the sweet spot where I didn't need anybody actively seeing me in my life to be happy, but I could just be alone for hours. Like, I would just be happy as fuck. You could place a mirror in front of me and I would talk to myself for hours. I would lay on the cold bathroom tiles. I would watch TV. I'd play a video game. I'd paint. I'd draw. I'd make stories. I'd have a blast. And I would not care how outlandish the stories were or this, that, or the other. I would just be extremely fucking happy to be alive and present. You know? That was how I felt. Hmm. And I did not need friends every day. I didn't need other people around with me. I was totally fine just existing as a lone person who just went about their day and focused on what they liked and enjoyed themselves. And occasionally I could type some shit online, like a funny comment or gush about a post on Tumblr or something. But otherwise, yeah, life did as life does. And I don't know, but I guess last night multiple things happened to show me. Like, I had a rough evening, but you know what? I still, even though the evening was rough, my buddy who took me to that bar, he still recognized that I was feeling bad and he took me home and he tried to make an effort to let me know to vent and to talk and all that shit. Also, he's a hypocrite because he told me, "Ooh, I don't like gossip," but then he was insisting on gossip. Huh, funny. Anyway, sorry, that's irrelevant. I'm trying to stay on topic. I know this video is a bit long. But my buddy still could recognize, yeah, she's been in the bathroom for a while. I think she secretly does not want to be here. Let's take her home. And that was sweet. And he gave me room to talk if I wanted to. And then other people that evening reached out to talk to me and stop by and say hi and hug me and complimented my dress. Even if they didn't know me, they'd be like, "Pretty dress." And this one drunken lady was walking down the street yelling, "So sexy for her dress! Too sexy for her dress!" is at the top of her lungs, and it was making me blush. That did turn my mood around. And I don't know. So I guess it's good that I don't know. Oh, but I guess sometimes friends are just there for moments. They're not there for life. They're just there to like help you out or teach you a lesson or maybe like yeah. And I guess that's something that scares me. I don't know. Because in an ideal world, I would make cool friends and I wouldn't have to lose them over petty bullshit. But I don't know. I guess I have a lot of things to say, but I'm trying to say it all at once and I'm struggling to, so that's why this video is a bit long. It's nice to know that I can still be cared for in some ways, even if not others. And it's good to know that I still have people who want to make an effort with me. Even if they don't fully understand me 24/7, that they still want to try and they still want to, reach out and be sweet and be lovely and be kind. And I appreciate that camaraderie and I appreciate and cherish people regardless. Like Seamus, I don't I don't feel comfortable with him anymore, but I don't hate him because it's like at some point he was the guy I needed to talk to when I would be stressed out at like fucking any time between 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. And he'd be sweet and kind and funny and I would enjoy it highly. Sometimes he was the guy I just needed at the time. And I don't think he can be the guy going forward. And shit happens. Morgan was a piece of shit, but he still showed up for me in some ways and betrayed me in others. And the same for Liam. I don't want to just think, ooh, sometimes it's good that you met a shitty person because you got to use them. I don't want to think that. But I guess it's more like I appreciate that even though sometimes people can be shitty and selfish and rude or awkward, that at the end of the day, if they still want to show you that they care, they will still reach out and make an effort, no matter how big or small. I prefer the ones who make big efforts and are consistent, of course, but even if it's just like, oh, hey, here's a friend I haven't talked to in years, reaching out to say that I'm pretty and that they love me and care for me, even if they don't show it often, then that's really, that sometimes that can work too. And even recently, I got back in touch with some friends last night, actually, who I hadn't talked to in ages, and I thought they probably hate me. They probably think I'm fucking weird now and despise me. But I made the effort to get in touch with their tweets and, like, talk to them and on Discord and talk about my script. And next thing you know, they loved my script, and we were talking like the three amigos again and having a fucking blast talking about, hey, we're people of color, we're gay, we're non-binary, we got fucked up ass lives, we got mental illness, and I got to open up to them about some mental illness shit that I hardly get to talk to you about to 99% of my friends or anyone in my life. Hell, probably even less than that. There's only like two people, or yeah, maybe three who I've talked to about it, and one of them. Anyway, so it's a very big deal that I managed to talk to my lovely Discord homies about shit that I've dealt with my whole fucking life that I haven't even told y'all about. And it's sweet to know that they were just like, oh shit, I got that too. And we joked about it, we talked about it candidly, no holding back, and we saw each other, and I felt seen. I was like, this, wow, here I am talking to another non-binary person with all the same mental illnesses as me. And instead of feeling like we're weird or strange in a fucked up world, I finally met someone who feels like my common equal. And that felt wonderful. That felt amazing in a way that you cannot describe. And even my heart really feels warm as I say this because it's such a cozy feeling and I love them so much. So I guess that's how I feel whenever I have friends where even though there's differences, they still manage to show that there's mutual love and care regardless. As long as the differences aren't too fucking insane. Like, there's still a limit. Don't befriend rapists and shit and, like, but if you want, just, yeah, I get it. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. I love it when I have that heartwarming feeling where it's like these homies are very different from me, but they still show they care. Or hey, I finally met someone who actually is just like me, and we bond in so many wonderful ways. And there are people like me out there, and I don't have to feel alone. And even if friendships end or go away, I can still love and look back on the good memories and the fun moments and the late night talks and the video calls and have a fucking blast remembering those, because it wasn't all bad. They say to love is to lose. Like, sometimes you will lose a friend and you'll realize how much you had. Because even the other night with Seamus, before I threw the cup of water on him, he did admit that he just kind of realized his life was in pieces. And he felt so bad that he started fucking up so bad in his life that he had to lose a friend like me. Because I guess, like, he had a habit of being a piece of shit. And then once I finally left, he was like, wow, I didn't realize how shitty I was to her. And now that she is gone, it's like I lost this person who meant the fucking world to me. At least in his eyes. And he wasn't showing me that correctly. He still didn't really show me last night that I meant the world to him. He still acted like a fucking asshole. But at least it's nice to know that's like I have a meaning and a purpose in this life, and people love me and care about me and still want to see that I'm doing well. So yeah, if you're out there and you're thinking, oh, maybe I'm not meant to have friends, maybe I'm meant to die alone and suffer and be miserable, you are okay. You're gonna be alright. You're gonna go through long periods of being alone, and then you might just one day meet that one person who makes you feel seen. That's how I felt when I met Liam. I felt like I was about to go on my American Psycho shit. And then the universe was like, this bitch is about to lose her fucking mind. Let's drop in this twink white boy who also doesn't have much of a social life. And let's see what happens. And then Me and Liam just bonded like fucking immediately, and we had a great time. We both cried when we got home because we were like, finally, a connection that we've been looking for. And then that led to a nice romantic, almost a year long relationship. And then, yeah, life went as it does, and we separated. I'm still on good terms with him actively. I still see him sometimes. And then, shit happens. People grow, people change, people reveal themselves to be nasty, or sometimes you yourself realize that they were just like not that great all along. So it happens. But you're gonna grow. You're gonna be okay. You'll be okay alone as long as you just make sure you have the groundwork to be happy. Even when there's no one else around you and you're secure in yourself, doing the inner work to like help with your ego and love yourself a healthy amount and like, like take care of yourself so that you have food at home and like things to do that entertain yourself and that you don't always have to constantly rely on other people to be your sense of joy so that you're not afraid to leave bad friendships. And then once you have that groundwork done, then you can let in the friendships, or hell, maybe even if you don't have that groundwork, sometimes the best friends you can make are the friends you make when you struggle. You'll find amazing people in the worst fucking places, and you'll grow and persevere together, and it'll feel fucking amazing. And even if you don't have the rest of your lives spent together, sometimes it's okay. Just the journey. You know that thing about how it's like, ooh, maybe the journey and the end game didn't matter. Maybe it was the friends you made along the way. Sometimes it's also the reverse. Maybe it's both. Maybe it's like, hey, you had a wonderful friendship and a wonderful journey, and both came to an end, but what mattered is that you had it in the first place. You experienced, you grew, you loved, you lost, but you still won in the end. You still won all those wonderful memories that you would not have if you didn't even think you were worthy of a friend or didn't think you were worthy of a nice night out by yourself. Hell, I went out the other night solo. Like, I just went out dolled up and I had a good time. I dealt with a lot of shitty people, but I also met some nice people. And regardless, I went, you know what, I'm still lovable and awesome. And maybe this event just sucks. Some of these people just suck. Like, but that doesn't mean that I suck. And I'm actually quite cool and based and awesome. And then funny enough, that's where I met the homies who I went out with dinner and the bar with last night. Because I straight up, that was so funny. I went out to that fucking place myself, and then somehow, despite being cities away, I ran into like a friend that I met at the mutual open mics I go to. And it was so fucking wild. It was like, oh, what a fun coincidence. And then they decided, hey, well, you're lovely. You could come talk to us if you would like. No pressure. And then we had dinner and we had a great time regardless. And sure, the whole evening didn't go the greatest, but a lot still went very fucking well. I had a great time socializing. I was charismatic. Words flew out of my mouth easily. No holding back, no stress. Fucking great. And that's just lovely. So I guess, like, regardless of how things end or begin, sometimes you can have amazing friendships and you are worthy of them, truly. Life will surprise you. Don't just think that you have to give up on having love or friendships because you met some shitty people or had some awkward moments. Like, regardless of the awkward moments last night, I still had a fantastic fucking time. And I still got texted the next morning that I am loved and cared about. And all that. So just let yourself have the room to be loved. And if you don't feel loved, leave, but also let some leeway be in for people to grow and have the option for them to stay in your life if you want. And if they don't get that shit together, kick their asses out. All right, God bless. Peace out.